Hello.
Happy almost Halloween.
Happy almost. Actually, Halloween is a season. Halloween is a state of mind. I love Halloween.
I also love Halloween, but I admit this year has not felt very Halloween y.
Even though everything is so scary.
Screams into a bag.
I can't blame you.
Uh, you might notice something. We said we'd be in costume. Well, we kind of are.
You kind of
Uh,
are.
Curla, do we want to tell the listeners at home the hell we've been through trying to make Halloween happen this year?
It's been a lot, okay? I think that like as a starter, the state of the world,
Yes.
just as a little appetizer.
Yes.
Um, we've had some fun times. In the Patreon episode, we talked about how usually Patreons vote for our
Mm-hmm.
costumes.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year, with again the state of everything,
Hello.
hello, thanks for joining. Like the state of everything, then just like first we have to narrow down the options. So we have to
Yes.
find something that we have in common.
Which already takes us like 3 days.
Yeah, right. And then we have to present the options, and then we have to give ample time
Mm-hmm.
to vote, and then we actually
Mm-hmm.
have to like order stuff for the costumes, which
Right.
uh, isn't isn't easy right now. I mean, for
It's
you,
not.
you're in tariff blockade hell, and I'm
I
still
am.
in the north, so everything takes longer. So this year we were so cramped for time, we were like, we're just going to make an executive decision, which we did.
Yes.
But then a lot of stuff happened, and then we
Yes.
were just like, you know what? Let's just do Halloween looks, because my wig that I was gonna wear arrived on Friday, and
And it looks like it's seen war.
I've been styling it. Like I was at a Halloween workshop with like con organizers last night, and I spent it crimping this damn wig. And then I was up at 7 this morning watching figure skating while still working on the wig. I was working on the wig all day. It, it looks better, but
Yes.
holy cow. On a brighter note, I have practiced making a fake hairline. Um
So proud of you.
so I've learned something, but I am very
Yeah.
glad we went against our original plan, and
Yeah.
that I don't have to wear that abomination just yet.
I spent approximately 5 business days agonizing over shades of purple,
As one
only
does.
then to realize I ordered the wrong shade,
No.
and
No.
then promptly gave up on
Yeah,
existence.
right. And I was like, I was going to do, ideally I would have practiced this makeup, but
Yes.
the world this week has been insane. And then I was like, as I was getting ready to like start looking at it, I was like, I need white mascara. I don't have any white mascara. I was gonna buy white mascara like last year.
I think so, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what Corolla's got. We're just
Yeah,
ourselves. It's just Halloween inspired.
this is just kind of what I look at like in
Yeah.
October.
This is Halloween inspired. We've been going through it
Yeah,
behind the scenes. But I'm so excited to be here with Corolla because, as I say almost every episode, Corolla is one of my favorite people on this planet,
thank you.
even when she's unreachable.
Yes, I say this every time. Like I've been particularly unreachable this week, but I can we just talk about this for a moment? I saw
We
Flo
can. You
on
did.
Monday, okay? And oh my god, I cried so much. Not
I
because of Flo.
Yeah. You cried because of the Naruto scenes that they play.
Like they were fucking. There was a screen, and I wasn't prepared. Have you seen this show, or did you see a
So
different?
I went to their other concert where it was
Oh
like
yeah,
all
yeah,
of the anime
yeah. All the
scenes.
on the yeah.
So no, I didn't see this one.
No, because I wasn't. I don't even know. I wasn't prepared. I found out like 2 days before the concert that they have this screen on stage, and they just show scenes from Naruto. So I
Yes.
started crying at the beginning because they had like the gates of Konoha, and then they opened and they started playing like background music, and I was like sobbing. And then of course there were Valley of the End scenes, and I was in the front row just like ugly crying at them. So that was fun. And we were
And
filmed so much, so like I live in fear.
I get to do this in December, so I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I'm so excited for you. It was
It'll be
really
my
fun
second
though.
time. It'll be
It
my
was,
second time seeing Flow.
yeah, they're super fun. Hi.
They're so good. They're
And
so
they're,
good.
yeah, they're
Hello.
so good. And then of course we didn't have the bassist because he just had surgery, so he wasn't
Yeah.
there. So we had the four members, but it was super fun. And I got to hang out with friends, and then I got to stay with a friend, and then my social battery was drained, and I went home and I went to sleep for 2 days.
Yeah. And in that time, I messaged Corolla because we actually had podcast stuff to do. And I got a response 3 business days later.
Yeah, and that is how I function. I mean, I don't function, which is why that happens. And yeah, no, it was a lot.
But we're here. I'm
We are
so glad that
here.
we're here. We had the most fun talking about the summer Hikaru died by evidence of the
Officially,
fact, huh?
the longest episode. Officially.
Officially our longest episode. Um, I mentioned this to Corolla when we finished recording. I think you guys will find this piece of trivia interesting.
This is so weird.
The last 3 Halloween specials have been our longest episodes ever, and each one has topped the last.
I am so afraid.
I don't know what we're doing for Halloween next year. That has to be 3.5 hours.
Oh god.
But every Halloween, we've had our longest episode ever. And I think that's telling.
I think that's it's very telling. We just love Halloween and the slightly darker things.
And we really had so much to say about the summer Hikaru died. And I went back and I
Yeah.
listened to the episode. And like truly a record breaking number of we will talk about this in the live. Like we do not have time. We will talk about this later. 3.5 sounds good to me.
Okay.
I don't know what you did after we recorded for 3 hours. I slept like a dead man.
I can't remember. I I have a vague memory of inhaling whatever snacks was left in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember eating like I had never been given food before and then sleeping until like 8 p.m.
It's just of course this was also like 2 weeks ago.
It was
But
longer
yeah,
than two
no,
weeks
it's just
ago.
a void. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember anything after that. But I mean, it was a good episode, and we had so much to say,
We
evidently,
did. We
and
did.
there's still much to say.
No. So if you have any questions or comments, if you want to talk about the summer Hikaru died, we are here for that. Um there's definitely points that I know we said we wanted to bring up, especially relating to the bury your gaze trope, because we didn't get to talk about that as much as we wanted to. And also, the bury your gaze trope, as we discovered, is more of a vibe
Mm.
because one of the things that we discovered as we were talking about it is that in a lot of ways, bury your gaze has become like queer bait, where it's
Mm.
a term that people ascribe rather than it being like this is an actual instance.
Mm.
And sometimes, as we discussed in our Patreon episode, queer characters do die sometimes.
Yeah.
Death happens.
Sometimes we're guilty of committing that crime as writers.
Yeah. And it isn't necessarily bury your gaze just because a queer character experienced death. It is when it's targeted because of their queerness in the narrative. But like a queer character experiencing death is not always bury your gaze.
No, but you see, all queer characters have to be immortal. Always. They can't die.
So in the X-Men comics, what was that eye roll?
I wasn't eye rolling. I was trying to blink excitedly, and then my fake lashes got stuck on each other. I'm fine. I'm excited to hear about X-Men. You know I like the X-Men.
So in the X-Men comics, they eventually build like this mutant paradise called Krakoa.
Yes.
That's separate from the humans because Charles eventually figures out that Magneto was right all along. The mutants and the humans could not live together in harmony. There would be no kumbaya where everyone is fine. Um, and
What
they build
really?
and they build this paradise called Krakoa. And of course, a lot of X-Men characters are either queer coded or queer.
Yes.
So it does become a bit of a gay paradise. As someone who enjoys darker queer stories, I sometimes write exactly like sometimes queer characters die, and it's not necessarily bury or gaze.
No, and like sometimes
Yes,
they die alongside everyone else.
yeah, exactly. Um, Podcasts that I take inspiration from is called Cerebro. They're all about X Men, and
Oh.
they make a joke about Krakoa saying that they want Emma Frost and her brother Christian to open up a gay bar on Krakoa called Homo Superior.
Yes. I agree.
Uh, are you okay?
I'm trying to link our live stream, and then I was afraid that it would start auto playing, and then like that the mic would pick it up. So I was like,
Corolla is over here looking the most focused I've ever seen in my life.
I was just trying my best.
Like, let's see. Example: Alien stage. Gays and straights are not safe. From what I've heard, yes,
I need to watch Alien Stage,
I do
but
too.
my life is
I've seen a
there are
lot of
some
I've seen a lot of porn that I don't understand.
from Alien Stage.
Yeah,
I haven't seen. I've barely seen anything,
I mean,
but
also in general, I have it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have in my
no,
life.
no, really, you can't even imagine. Um, I mean, I came home from Oslo and then promptly decided to destroy my life. So, in my conscious moments of being awake, we've been rewatching Naruto, which is exactly what my mental health needed. So, there's that. But no, but I can't watch Alien Stage, which is like not 700 episodes.
Oh my goodness. Porn is good, but lore is I mean, that's like the second heading of this podcast.
Hmm, maybe we should just have. I mean, that's basically every episode, but could be
I've
the
heard good things
tagline.
about Alien Stage. Exactly. Like, I've heard good things. I just haven't. It was such a stretch for me watching the summer Hikaru died. Like, that was such a Herculean task that I accomplished.
But aren't you glad you did? I mean, glad is a
Yeah, glad's a relative term.
it's very good.
Uh, it was really good. I'm so glad that we watched it. I'm glad that my instinct was correct that this is something that we'd be all over because it is. Um, I want to talk about something very, very interesting in the summer Hikaru died, and that is this like it's usually seen a lot in Western media, and you do see it, of course, in Eastern media as well, but like this immense distrust of adults.
Mm,
Um, I grew up with parents that weren't great, so distrusting adults was like a thing that you did.
mm,
But it was really interesting seeing that in an anime where it's like, oh, you can't trust the adults around you.
yeah,
I haven't watched the anime and I know I love the manga. The anime is
yeah,
really good.
very good. And
Um,
the 5 volumes that are out so far
mhm,
cover the. I mean, like we talked about in the main episode, they do jump around and like move some plot points around a little bit
yeah.
for I guess for the flow of it, but
Mhm,
the 5 volumes that are out pretty much are the same as the anime at this point. So
mhm,
the volume 6 is coming out this month,
mhm.
and I'm like just like I will probably not see it until November because I live in hell. But I'm very excited because now we get to see what happens next,
Yes.
and I'm losing my mind. I'm fine.
Are you?
Yeah? Question mark.
Yeah, the manga is great. I really liked seeing it animated. I like seeing all those cool effects.
Hmm.
I
And
think it also. Hmm?
no, and I also think we touched a little bit on it in the main app, but um obviously we are reading when we read the manga, we read the translation
Mhm,
and the localization. And even
mhm,
though they've tried, because this is happening in some mountain town in I can't remember. It's like in Kansai somewhere, like way out in the mountains. So
mhm,
the dialect is really important in the Japanese version, but obviously they have to somehow localize it and like use
mhm.
like the grammar that they use and the way that they structure the sentences and change the words around in English to try to match it. But you can never get like a one-to-one match. So it's very interesting to hear them, like when you
Yeah,
hear the way they speak, when you hear the accent, and just and always Japanese voice acting is literally the best in the world,
it's
and
so
it's just
good.
so good. And just it's just so it just adds a completely like another dimension to it. And of course, the first thing that
Yeah.
comes to my mind is just a fucking wig ghost. But apart from the wig ghost that
I
starts,
love that that's the thing that traumatized you.
no, but it's just because I already have trauma. I can't with the hair things. Okay.
I I also think something that's interesting, and I feel this way very, very strongly about anime and its power, is that for me, it was so much easier to suspend my disbelief when I
Mm,
was watching it rather than reading it. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm an aesthetic at my core, and I love setting up like a cozy reading situation. But, like, I'm not reading manga by candlelight. So it's kind of hard to force yourself to suspend your disbelief when you're in a well lit room in the middle of the day.
mm,
Like there was something that was so it was so much easier to fall into like the horror aspects of the summer Hikari died when I was like focused at my laptop desk and it was
mm.
dark and I had my headphones on so the sound was very
Oh yeah,
isolated. There
yeah.
wasn't other things that were really distracting me. My phone was away. I had all the other windows closed so I wasn't just like I didn't have 13 different Discord conversations happening. It was so nice to like
Mm.
sit and focus. Like I have two main ways of oh god. Imagine. So as a Southern Texan, I don't think that that accent is comparable. I think it would probably sound a little bit more Appalachian hillbilly than it would Texas Southern. I think it would be a little bit more rural
Mm.
than Southern. There's a difference.
I mean, I can't speak to that because we have a certain idea of what you guys sound like, and then I'm talking to you, and I'm like, but you don't sound like the Texans I've heard. and it's like, and it's like, please understand that it's not. It probably isn't, but like my go to. Like if
Hmm.
I'm thinking of a Texan, this is my mom's fault and her influence on me when I was a wee child. But I can only think about Jackie Gleason as Sheriff Buford T. Justice of Texas.
We don't sound like that.
Sheriff Buford T. Justice, I love you. Oh
We
my
don't.
god.
We don't sound. I mentioned this in the main episode. I don't think I have a very strong accent. I don't. Um, until I'm out of the country, and then I sound like Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob.
But I think that's just something that happens to you when you travel. Like I've been saying this to everybody this week, but when I go to Oslo, I become like it's like my brain dies. And it's like this is me traveling in my own country. Like I can go to Japan, can navigate the Japanese train system fine, everything is fine. I go to Oslo and I'm like I don't I don't understand because they have subways and we don't have subways here. They also have trams. We have one tram. Like we have
Not
one
one.
tram. No, we have
Not.
one tram and it goes one route and that's it. And then we have buses. And so I don't like I love the subway, I love the trains. The subway is kind of like the Japanese trains, just, not as good. But it's still,
Yeah.
but in my head, because it's so strange to me, it's like we're following the signs to get to the metro station essentially. And I'm like, but there are so many different lines. What do you mean we have to walk in the same direction for all the lines? That doesn't sound, because all the buses don't. And I turned into this hillbilly that has like never seen civilization in my life.
You
It's
poor
horrible.
thing.
It's horrible. I was just walking around being the biggest country bumpkin, and my brain was dead. So,
Oh my goodness. But yeah, like I had such a nice time like sitting and really focusing on the summer
mm,
Hikaru died. Because basically I have like two modes of watching anything. It's on my TV and I'm doing 13 other things because
yeah.
I am the living embodiment of the three screen model. So like usually it's on the TV and I have other things going on, or I'll watch on my desktop and really focus.
Mm,
And I usually watch like my subbed anime that way because
mm.
otherwise I'm not really paying attention. If it's on the TV, I'm not. I'm doing
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, and I do that too, and it's really annoying because obviously I watch everything on the projector screen, so it's like it takes up an
Mhm.
entire wall. But then I also like I look at everything else and I check my phone and but
Yeah.
if I watch it on the computer screen, then it's like, well, I can't do anything else because that screen is occupied. I like
Right.
literally cannot look away. But then it annoys me because I don't like I don't like using that screen. And yeah, so I do it very rarely. I like having my big screen. It's nice watching, that scene taking up an entire wall.
I have so many thoughts about that scene.
Mm, yes.
And also that apparently everyone's just fucking ghosts in this world.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I love that. I think I struggle with anime because I get distracted easily, whereas manga I can focus better. Yeah,
Mm,
it I find it depends for me. Like if I'm in a mindset, like I treated the summer Hikaru died like it was homework because it
mm,
was.
because it was.
Yeah, because it was. So it was like, okay, no, I need to do this. Like it was an accomplishable goal.
Mm,
So it was easier for me to focus on. But if it was like, oh, I've heard this is good, I'll watch it eventually. Absolutely not. It would not have gotten done in the time it did. I would not have retained what I did. I would have watched like an episode and been like, I'll get to it later.
yeah. No, and but I'm also like when I read manga, and this is like one of these things which is it's just so bizarre because manga is art, right? You like
Mm-hmm.
part of the reason why we love manga is the art and the
Mm-hmm.
drawings and everything. And then I'm over here like reading the speech bubbles and reading as if I'm reading just like a text-based novel,
Right.
and I forget to look at the pictures a lot of the time, and then I miss out on a lot of like I miss out on a lot of context because I focus on reading the text. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I watch the anime, I get the different. I'm like, oh, so that's what happened.
Yeah, you gotta lock in. I
Mm,
find that there are certain subbed things that I can watch on the big screen, but it's because I pretty much have the dialogue memorized.
yeah,
So
same.
I can watch that one episode of Antique Bakery where Jean Baptiste appears
Of course you can.
because I pretty much have that episode's dialogue memorized.
I can watch my favorite episodes of Kin Portion. I don't speak Thai,
I love that. Like
but I know.
I love Antique Bakery so much, but it's that one episode where the horrible Frenchman appears.
Yeah, yeah. Today in Halloween horrors, Jean Baptiste can appear at any given
Oh,
time.
he's not. No,
Yes,
he's not that bad.
you're the one who's like threatening people with like, oh, if you don't put a like slice of Napoleon cake or whatever outside your door, Jean Baptiste me.
I didn't make the rules. He did. He's he's the spookiest semi apparition we could find.
Hmm.
When are we finally going to do eerie
I
queries?
was just going to say that. That's next year. That is the 4 hour
That
special.
yeah, that would be
Yeah,
the 4 hour special.
1 hour per volume. It just I don't know if Eric Query actually has the depth to be a 4 hour special, but we could do it. It's fine.
It
I
does not. I promise you, it does not.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I had a really, really great time. Oh, Eerie Query is a
It
classic.
is a classic.
And we talk about it all the time.
It's like mostly it's a classic because it's one of the few things that were made available to us and we ate it
Yes.
up. Like
Yeah.
I reread it a couple of years ago, like I mentioned it, and it's just like, oh, but it's cute. I quite like it.
Should you read Eerie Query? Yeah. If
If
you can find
you
it.
Yeah, if you can find it, you should. It's 4 volumes. It's very cute and fun and nostalgic and
Mhm.
ah, an era of the past.
Yeah. But if you have questions, comments, concerns with the summer Hikaru died, uh, we are here for that. I think one big thing that we did talk about was this not technically being BL, but
Mm,
that doesn't mean that it negates its queerness.
no, absolutely.
Um, I've also been having some thoughts on yaoification
Mm-hmm.
because of
Do,
another thing that I watched.
which was
So I ended up in an insomnia hellhole
oh no,
and watched the entire movie, The Long Walk by Stephen King.
I haven't seen that.
It's
I think
so sad.
I think I haven't seen it because I meant to read it. I actually think I
You
may
should
own
reread.
that book.
Don't. The book is Stephen King. The movie is great.
I
It's
like
just
Stephen King.
I don't like his writing.
I like
Um,
it a lot.
and it's just an unbearable churn towards sadness. But what I wasn't
That's great.
expecting were for there to be ships.
Oh no.
I wasn't expecting there to be a fandom in ships in this book about a death march.
I
And
mean, gay ships can be found anywhere.
true, I say that I'm not scandalized, nor really am I that shocked. But it was a little surprising. It was in the last place that I expected.
Mm,
But I do think it's interesting that we're almost seeing both sides of that BL dialogue happening.
mm.
This is true. This is true. Everything can have ships if you try hard enough.
Or your brain is just so rotten. Like those future glasses are so permanent. You're not even trying. I'm just
Um,
like,
that I've seen.
what about the long walk?
I saw a tweet saying Stephen King wrote this for. It's it's probably one of his queerest stories.
See, this is how you get me. Also, on a side note, like since we're talking about Stephen King, I just finished listening to Insomnia on
Yes,
audiobook, which was an experience because apparently it's super tied into the Dark Towers series, which I have
it
not
is.
read. And I was like, but it was like, first of all, it was terrifying, but not because the plot was terrifying. It was because this particular audiobook has this, there's like between each, like not even chapter, like between every big scene or whatever, there's
Mhm.
like this music and it is the creepiest, most like grating thing ever. So it was like every time this music came on and I felt like I was dying, it was horrifying. Um but yeah, there's a mention, like there's, because we know how Stephen King, I talked about this in Patreon when we were talking about writing, but how Stephen King has this whole multiverse and is like using, like
Yes.
his characters are appearing and names are appearing and like
Mhm.
everything's sort of connected in a lot of these stories. And so one of the characters who was mentioned, whose name I of course now do not remember, I think his first name is Adrian. I'm pretty sure that's the same gay guy because like they talk about this gay guy who was thrown off a bridge and that's like, well, that's the opening of It, speaking of barrier gays, by the way.
Mhm.
And I was like, but that's him. They are now expanding. I think his name is Adrian Mellon. And like now they're expanding on his backstory and I'm super excited. So I go to like this wiki thing to like read more about it. And he's not on the list of like characters appearing in Insomnia that are also in other. I'm like, are you people insane? Is this queer erasure? Am I insane? It's just like going through it.
Oh my god. Uh,
There's just a
y-
whole thing.
yeah, I will say if you have to yaoify a Stephen King, The Long Walk is it.
There's it also because apparently Richie was gay, but
We were talking about yaoification and this not being BL. Uh, I've seen that happen now a couple of times where people that I know when talking about the summer he got died, but oh, that gay show, and it's like,
I know.
yes, but also it's so much more.
Yeah, I know. I'm
We
falling in.
live we live in rabbit holes. What
Yeah,
do
but
you
now,
mean?
now I have to go down the whole Dark Tower path. Like, you don't think I have enough on my to be read list? Like, what's the point? What am I doing?
I'm gonna get a message from you that you actually ended up reading The Long Walk and just be like, Amanda, why?
I mean, I will, if I can actually retain my sanity long enough, I will, after this live, go to my bookshelf and check if I actually have it or if that was a fever dream. Because I don't know what books I own anymore.
I look forward to a message at like 3 o'clock in the morning
Yes,
my time.
I shall keep you posted on
And
my
Crow just
adventures
being like,
in in Stephen King Yaoi Land.
but yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the summer Hikari died talked about that, like, oh, that gay show, and it's like,
Mm.
mm,
Oh, that LGBT thing, as Hikaru
yeah,
would say. Actually, that was just the real
that was
Hikaru.
actually Hikaru. Yeah,
That was actually Hikaru, yeah. I've
don't
just
make him
gotten
a
so
monster.
no, but I've gotten so used to doing this when, like, even in my notes, I keep screwing up and writing Hikaru with the quotations because I got so used to it because it's that's the one that's most frequently seen in
Yeah,
this.
we don't see the actual Hikaru very often. He's
No,
bless him.
oh bless him. I mean, I think I do think there was a little bit though, like there was a little bit of LGBT there in the real Hikaru.
You think so?
Yeah,
You
I
think
do
you're
think so.
okay?
I mean, spoiler. I mean, if you're here after listening to the 3 hour episode, can you even be spoiled anymore? But I mean, the fact that yes, I love it so much.
I did too.
But the fact that when the reason whatever entity fake Hikaru is there in the first place is because Hikaru died on the mountain and he was attracting this thing with his dying wish, which was literally, I don't want anyone to be sad and I want someone to stay by Yoshiki's side so he
Yeah, it
won't be
was to take
alone.
care of Yoshiki.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, that is a very, that's a thing. It could
I
be a
think
friend thing, but
that's what I'd say. I think that's interesting because you can see Amanda does media analysis in the scene where Yoshiki is talking about the old Hikaru, and it's like, oh, a
mm,
girl confessed to him,
mm,
and he was so excited about it,
yeah.
but then it didn't really go anywhere.
No, because she started going out with some other dude, and he was all,
Yeah, she started going out with some
yeah,
other dude. Like the crushing gay sadness I saw on Yoshiki when
yeah,
he was talking about that
yeah, because
was
yeah, Yoshiki's queerness is palpable. Like it is there, and the
yes.
whole like we talked about. I mean, we talked about it in the main app. We talked about it on Patreon. We've talked about it between ourselves, but just how this entire like there's a dual story happening, and like on one
Mhm,
hand, it is that very much hands on. Okay, something is inside of this guy and like that's not him and there's like this entity in the mountains, and then on
mhm,
the other side there's the whole everything here can be read as an analogy for being an insecure queer person and a queer young
mhm,
person in a small town,
mhm.
and all of the things that comes with that, so there's like this constant dual narrative. So Yoshiki's queerness very obvious, but I do also think that Hikaru has some queer qualities.
Yeah, I think he has like that very traditional queerness that we're used to, where it's like I don't think he'd call himself queer,
Yeah.
but he'd be like, "Oh, I'm Yoshiki sexual." Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be one of
he would
those things.
ascribe he would ascribe intense queerness to Yoshiki, but I don't think that he'd label himself like we wouldn't see Hikaru at like a Tokyo Pride march.
We would see Hikaru at a Tokyo Pride March.
Oh,
He would love it.
Hikaru!
I would lose. I need this in my life. He would love it.
Do you think Hikaru was projecting his feelings for Yoshi on that girl? Possibly. I mean,
Mm.
also bisexuality does exist.
Bisexuality does exist. Um,
Hi,
no, no, no. You're not here.
I'm not here.
We've talked about this.
We have. It's all part of that long con.
But yeah, yeah, that
Oh
I mean,
yeah. I mean I also need to see art of like Yoshiki and Hikaru going to their first like Tokyo Pride event. The
oh my
creature would love Pride.
the creature, oh my god. And it's like he's just so full of like joy and I mean for a creature that doesn't really understand emotion, full of joy.
The creature would love Pride so
Oh
much.
my god, I want this so much. This is like my next Pride cosplay after doing Hot Topic gay Sasuke.
He kind of seems very oblivious to his feelings, maybe even a little bit ace. I mean, also he has a lot going on in his interior life. I think we spend
Yeah,
so much time focusing on Yoshiki because like he's our point of view character. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Um that like we don't know what's going on in Hikaru's life. Like we have to have an understanding that he probably knows more about his family's curse than what we eventually learn. Like we also don't really like Hikaru before he becomes an unknowable chaos monster is in his own way unknowable. We only
Mm,
know him through what we know from Yoshiki,
yeah.
which could be one of many faceted sides to this character. Because we have to have some understanding that, yeah, he was told about what his family does and has to do.
Mm,
He has to have some understanding of that. And you could make an argument that he does a lot of projecting on his own of strength and being okay
mm.
for the sake of appearances.
Yeah. And then I mean we do have that moment of because Yoshiki keeps thinking back on, the Hikaru who eats watermelons and talks
Mhm.
about swallowing the seeds and growing, a plant inside of him or whatever. And
Mhm.
and all of these like happy go lucky, excited, kind of like all of these versions of him. But then he also says to fake Hikaru that the real Hikaru was also more he was more responsible,
Yeah.
he was more serious. And then there's that one flashback of Hikaru, the real Hikaru, saying that he hates mornings because he wakes up and realizes that his dad's dead.
Yeah.
And it's like that one flash of he's actually quite
Quite sad and
yeah.
somber.
And that
Yeah.
is
Well,
typical.
yeah. I mean, unreliable in the sense that it's a 16, 17-year-old boy who has gone through tremendous grief and mental illness. Like,
Yeah, and who is I
yeah.
mean, when you are a teenager and you're crushing on someone,
Yeah.
you are gonna see them in this light that is
Right.
just so
And
there's
as
that,
some
yeah.
and as someone who's had to mask, who has had to
Mm,
cosplay being okay when they're not okay, if that's what you're doing, most people aren't going to see the depths of you that aren't okay. And there's a reason for that. So
mm,
yeah, we put a lot of carefree attributions on Hikaru. We don't know what we actually don't really know his interior life. We don't know what his thoughts were,
no.
which is kind of sad. I mean, clearly he had a lot going on. If in his dying moments his concern was, "Oh, I'm like the only person that's there for Yoshiki."
Mm.
And that sucks.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said, technically he is because in their village where they live,
Mhm.
which is not the village they go to school in, they
Mhm.
are literally the two only teenagers. Yoshiki has
Mhm.
a younger sister, but she has her own issues and she's younger than him. So
Mhm.
he literally only has Hikaru.
Yeah.
And Hikaru so fully appears, at least through Yoshiki's eyes that we are seeing, he so fully accepts Yoshiki
Hmm.
and appreciates him for who he is,
Hmm.
because there is that constant feeling that, obviously something's off in this town, but I think with Yoshiki's family, like we talked about,
Thank you.
thank you, that we talked about how his whole family is off, right? Because there's the dad
Yeah.
who's like this recluse who's just in his office room, and he hasn't talked to his dad in a year. His
Hmm.
mom is an outsider. She's from
Hmm.
Tokyo. His sister doesn't go to school. People are gossiping
Hmm.
about their family. And then on top of that, you have this whole thing where it's like, oh, and then he's probably queer. Like, that's another thing. Because everyone's talking about this other dude who went to Tokyo and became an LGBT, who's apparently sick.
Yeah.
So
He got infected by the gay. He went to Tokyo and got the gay.
I hate it when that happens.
Is that what happened?
I already had the game.
It was,
I went to Tokyo for the first
yeah, I was
time.
already infected when I went.
I'm sure I
It
was
may have,
patient. I was patient zero for someone.
it may have exacerbated my illness, but I was already gay when I went.
I don't understand what you're talking about. I refuse to believe that the Yaoi dungeon made me any more queer. Like, what? I don't understand the question.
I'm thinking about me smuggling back my My Hero Academia figures.
Oh no.
I've seen a tweet somewhere where Yoshiki and Hikaru wouldn't work, but yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can see
yeah.
that. I can see that. And I think that's what makes this story so interesting, is that it is a
Mm.
weird wish fulfillment for
Yeah.
Yoshiki, that like he probably never really stood a chance with original Hikaru,
Mm.
but he can with this new Hikaru.
Yeah. And another thing that I think is also interesting that, in this is the concept of the mixing. Because on one
Mhm.
hand, like, obviously this can be read as analogy for identity and how you can, how you can change, and how you change and adapt depending on situation, depending on who you're
Mhm.
with at the moment.
Mhm.
Because on one hand, you have Yoshiki, who he knows that fake Hikaru isn't Hikaru, and
Mhm.
but at some point he starts to shift from trying to see him as the real deal and seeing him for it, but seeing him for this new person and
Right.
appreciating who he is and what he gives him, and
Mhm.
parts that are only his. And in the same way that Hikaru says on multiple occasions that he isn't human. He doesn't
Mhm.
understand a lot of things. He keeps saying that he likes Yoshiki, but then he's like, I don't know. I don't really know what that means. Like, it probably isn't the way you humans would call romantic love, or even friendship, but
Mhm.
I love you. And like, he has these feelings, and like, so he's grappling with his own identity and
Mhm.
mapping that out, and coming to terms with the fact that he isn't the real Hikaru, but he also
Mhm.
isn't just this entity from the mountains anymore. And in the same way, Yoshiki is grappling with, okay, this is Hikaru, but it isn't. And I now,
Mhm.
like, his feelings are shifting towards this third person, almost, who
Mhm.
person.
Yes, I've been saying this for months.
Yeah, this has been, we all know Amanda at this point, and it's like it's kind of like, yes, there's a main story, but hear her out. Let's talk about the dads. And it's not that I disagree.
I was about to say, please tell
No,
me on the doll where I'm
no,
wrong.
because I've read enough stuff in my life, and things that come to mind are, for instance, the "don't call me daddy, don't call me dirty" duology, and the romance between the dads and that one. And then also, I want to say that there's something about the restart after coming back home series. But that might just be the countryside thing. But there too is same vibe. So definitely, no, I see it. But we
Yeah,
all we
those
all know that, problematic as I am, I do prefer teenage couples, or in this case, teenage boy and monster,
an eldritch monster.
two
Yes,
middle-aged men, because apparently that's just my preference.
it's literally that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think that Yoshiki's dad and Hikaru's dad had something going on. Like they were the two men that were the closest. Yoshiki's dad seems to be the one that mourns Hikaru's dad like the
Mm-hmm.
most. Um, like he refers to him as partner regularly, and like even though yes, you could see that as a work thing, that's also an incredibly intimate term that he barely even uses for his wife.
Mm. But I also think, yeah, I forgot to pay attention to that. I should rewatch parts of the anime and hear what the word he uses in Japanese is. Um,
Same. I'm always looking at middle aged men.
I'm just problematic, I guess. I mean,
Well, I
I
mean,
do.
it was such an obvious parallel, though. Like it was
Yeah,
such,
yeah, no,
you know,
absolutely.
talking about like the queer story. You know, if times were different, it is very easy to see a world
Yeah.
where Yoshiki's dad and Hikaru's dad have some kind of like queer situationship.
Mm,
But they're even further constrained, not just by like being out in the mountains and in this country town, but even further by time and
yeah.
that being like even less socially acceptable than it is now, relatively modernly.
Mm. But then they're also bound by, or at least Hikaru's dad is bound by the fact that, I mean, he is an Indo.
Mm-hmm,
They are bearing the sins of the
mm-hmm.
village. He literally has to reproduce because
Yeah.
the Indos have to keep making their sacrifices, even though our favorite garbage fire man with hamster says that apparently this ritual isn't really all it appears to be, and we don't know what that means because he will hopefully reveal that in volume 6. But it's just it might not be what it seems like, but as far as everyone in the Indo family at this point knows,
Mm-hmm,
that's how it is. And so not only is it, if you like someone, you have to marry them ASAP, or else they will be fucking murdered because this village is cursed. But
mm-hmm,
also, you have to marry a woman because you have to make heirs, because someone
mm-hmm.
has to go into the mountains to appease this god thing.
Listen, we don't make the rules for whatever the mountain god says.
No, plus Japanese adoption is a wild ass thing.
Yeah,
I
we
think,
don't
like, this is
we
one of
don't
those
make the
things.
rules.
I just can't get over this. I think it's, yeah, the hamster. But I think I just want to go off on a tangent and talk about Japanese adoption for those who,
Okay.
who aren't aware, because most adoptions in Japan are adult people being adopted. And most of the time, it's a family adopting a grown ass man. Like, not only Yakuza, but, if they don't have an heir and they have like a family business or
Mm-hmm,
something, they will adopt an adult man into the family who will take
mm-hmm,
over. And sometimes that is their daughter marries, and rather than her being written into his family registry, they will do the
mm-hmm,
opposite, and then he will be adopted into the daughter's family. Or they will
mm-hmm,
just pick some random guy they know and they're like, you're our son now. And then you have what they call a special adoption, which is what the rest of the world, calls an adoption, which is when you adopt a child, which in
mm-hmm,
Japan is extremely rare, because normally, like, it seems like it's way more common to just put kids in like these kinds of orphanages
mm-hmm.
rather than actually adopting them out. And if they do get adopted, there are a lot of like, they are mostly, I want to say, I don't think they're like open adoptions. I was reading up on this for author reasons, and and it does seem like it's a thing where in some of the cases, unless it's changed, this could be outdated information I'm giving you, but it at least has been a thing where the parents who give up the child for adoption will still
Mhm,
have rights to that child sometimes that the
mhm.
adopted parents don't have. So it's a whole thing. So no, they couldn't just adopt someone into the Indo family because there are strange ass rules, and I'm sure that the mountain demon wouldn't approve of it.
I'm such a Fujo when I heard reproduce. Oh my god, Omegaverse, the summer
I
Hikaru
mean,
died is
okay,
great.
at this point, there are mountain gods taking over
Yeah.
people. Exactly. Like, why
Yeah.
can't it be a megaverse? I'm sure that Hikaru has some tricks up his sleeve. He just needs to marry Yoshiki. I said this in the main episode.
I had to do research. I had to research this for a fic. It was not fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
not.
it's a whole thing.
Are
I'm
you
learning.
good? Are you good?
I'm just having war flashbacks to when I had to do this. And I haven't even used it for anything yet because it just got so convoluted. Oh
That's
my
the best part is when you do all this research and then it means nothing. I had to go back into research hell for a fan fiction, so
Yeah, but you do that every time. I just do that thing where it's like these characters don't exist outside of these four walls, and I
girl,
am I am not
leave
going.
me alone. Someone appreciates there is some reader out there that appreciates the energy and effort I put
Oh yeah,
into.
and I mean, I as a fellow writer appreciate it too. I just try to avoid doing the same thing.
I can watch you do it,
Yeah,
but
I will grab my popcorn and watch you suffer through your research while I write about boys who never leave their house, so I don't have to deal with these things.
oh my god. But yeah, like there are so many interesting parallels in the summer Hikaru died that like I'm so glad to see where the series continues to go because I will say it's at an interesting point where I'm not sure where it's going next.
Yeah, honestly.
Usually I'm pretty good at sussing out where a narrative is going. I have no idea where they're going.
No.
And
And,
I'm thrilled.
yeah, and there are so many things as well that I mean, it could go in a lot of directions, but there are also other things like will
Mhm.
they I mean, presumably they will, but touch upon what actually happened to Hikaru's dad because Yoshike's dad sure sounded like he didn't think that it had been an accident because it's like man starts asking questions about this age old ritual and then the next day he's dead in an accident. I don't know, dude.
I rewatched an entire season of a show just to make sure I got a line right for a fic, only to get to that scene and realize I remembered it verbatim. Yes, thank you. Same.
But I mean, sometimes you just got to make sure.
Yep. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to be doubly sure. I love the conversations that we get to have about a series like The Summer Hikaru Died.
Mm.
I'm glad that something like this exists. You know, I struggle to imagine this coming out. I'm really happy Amanda found a manga worth reading. Yes,
Well, remember that we actually have no names mentioned, but we do have a relatively recent title on our list
we do.
of episode topics with the subtitle Amanda tries something new.
Have you guys read the latest chapters? You will not spoil us.
No,
That will not be accepted in this household.
I've thought about looking it up, but I don't wanna. Like
Yeah,
I
I'm
want to
good waiting.
read.
I'm good waiting. I'm fine with that. Yeah, it was quite vindicating actually finding something that I liked that was modern because I've mentioned this multiple times. There's something really really strange that happens when you say that you're such a big fan of anime and manga, but like nothing connects with you anymore. It's like, do I still like anime and manga?
Mm,
Was this a phase? Did I actually outgrow this stuff? And it's like, no, you didn't. You're just middle aged now and you don't connect to the stories of children in the same way. Also, mental illness.
yeah, for me, it's mostly the mental illness. It's like I still really love anime and manga and all of these
Yeah,
things. I'm dead on the inside and I can't enjoy things 90% of the time, and so I just choose to not consume them until I
yeah,
feel better, which
which is never.
apparently, like, why?
Yeah, yeah, no, same.
I want to watch things and enjoy them, but I'm just like,
It actually ended up being kind of funny with the summer Hikaru died because peek behind the curtain. So October is weird for me because both of my dead parents have birthdays in October, like really, really close to each other. So watching the show about someone who passes away and having to grapple with like the moral concerns about them maybe coming back from the dead, really hard to watch when you have two dead parents. If I did not have to watch it for this show, probably wouldn't have watched it when I did.
no,
I would have waited for better mental circumstances of not having my dead parents' shadows looming over me like the wig ghost.
please, not the wig ghost. I'm
That
not
wasn't even the
okay.
scariest part to me.
No, but I mean, it wasn't the scariest part. It was scary. I am
Yeah.
traumatized and broken.
Also, I think we have access to so much nowadays that sometimes you really have to
Yeah.
dig. Exactly. We do have
And
so much.
and it's also like it's so saturated that you just kind of you freeze up. You don't even know where to start sometimes.
Mhm,
And it's like, and that's one of those things. I think we've touched upon this in regards to BL as well. Like it just becomes overwhelming. There's just,
mhm,
which, again, was one of the reasons why it took me, I mean, one of the many reasons why it took me so long to get into Thai BL, because I was
mhm,
like, the way they are just mass producing these shows, I can't get into this because it will ruin my life. Because I will, if I find out that I like this stuff, which, the chances are pretty big that I'll like this stuff, it has boys
mhm,
kissing, I will never be able to do anything again in my life because they are mass producing these shows. But then it's so saturated that what happened instead is that, I went laser focused in on Kin Porsche, which still owns my
mhm.
soul. And then I keep trying to watch other shows, and then the depression hits, and I just end up ghosting all of my shows instead. So now I just have even more things that I'm not caught up with that are stressing me the hell out. Send help.
Yeah, and I avoid that by just not watching new things.
Yeah, which, I can, and I can understand that. And there are always factors. One of my favorite factors that, for once actually are not my fault, and my apologies to my wife if she's somehow in here listening. But a lot of the time it's that we say that we're going to watch something together,
Mhm,
but then I prefer watching things week to week because
mhm,
I like the bite-sized watching, because then it's easier for me to set aside time for it. But
mhm,
she doesn't like the week to week. She likes to binge. And
mhm.
so it ends up like with, for instance, like the new season of Panty and Stocking. I was like, oh, it's coming out this Saturday. And then she's like, I don't want to see it until we can binge it. And then now it's finally finished. I'm like, okay, so now we can watch it. And then she's like, okay, but I want to rewatch the first season first. And now we're at, a point where it's like, well, when are we going to find the time to first watch the original show and then watch the second show? Because we just started watching Naruto again. Help me.
I love that you say something that isn't entirely my fault, but is still entirely a weird constraint of you and your
No,
relationship.
but I do want to say that I was not the one who it was not my idea to start on episode 1 of Naruto.
Okay,
I will say that that was not my
okay,
idea. But here
okay.
we are.
Yeah, you're still rewatching the show. Thank you.
I know. And like I also like binge watching, and it gives it a different dimension. But
Yeah,
as long as I'm able to keep up with the weekly episodes, it's easier for me to watch stuff that way.
I I like to binge in segments. Like I think the way that I did the summer Hikaru died was really really cool. Where it's like 3 to 4 episodes like every day or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Like that was helpful because I didn't lose too much to forgetting. I had a pretty good idea of like, okay, I remember what happened last episode, but also I wasn't like I've sat here for 10 hours and I no longer know which direction is up.
Yeah, and I agree. Like I also think like that is actually the best approach in that sense,
Mhm.
because it's kind of like, because then you don't have to dedicate like an entire weekend to it. It's still kind of bite-sized. I do
Yeah,
like doing that.
I could
I
break it
did,
up.
yeah, I did that recently with Rin Tohana no Saku, something about flowers blooming. I can't remember the English title, but I watched it in threes, and it was
Mhm.
very efficient. I do like that. It was also very good. Just as a side note, if someone's looking for a good shoujo.
Which I was going to say which our audience loves. We actually do have a segment of our audience that does like sojo.
I'm part of that segment. Hello.
Yeah, I am not. That is that is the opposite of where I live. That is the exact opposite of where I live. Though I am going to need you to catch back up on My Hero Academia because I've been sitting on knowing the ending for like a
I
year and I
Yeah,
have no one to talk about it with. So I've
yes.
been waiting for your pink ass and you won't join me in this hell.
But I'm watching the series. It takes a while.
Is it this
I
one?
mean, what? Yes, that is the one.
So I'm gonna need you to catch the fuck up.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I'll
No,
ask whoever, like Studio IG or whoever, to just produce quicker. Not that I've started the final season, but
you have. That's what I'm saying.
that's not my fault. I'm watching this show with my girlfriend.
That is entirely your fault.
No, that is entirely her fault. Take it up with her.
I like some soju. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm also like, yeah, but I do like me some shoujo. And let's not forget, mandatory mention, Banana Fish is a shoujo, everybody. You wouldn't think it with all the guns, but here we are.
I maybe that's what I need to focus on for the end of the year is rewatching Banana Fish because
No, don't do it.
I remember seeing glimpses of it forever ago. And I'm confused every time Corolla has big emotions about it. Like not in a dismissive way, just in the like I don't remember it being that deep kind of way.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, Lauren, me too. Every day of my life. I'm just like dissociating on, and yeah,
like I just don't remember feeling that strongly about any man at
I'm
any part of it. Mood.
ooh.
Like I don't remember that, so I need to rewatch. I need to go in and see what I'm missing because
I always feel like watching it around this time of year because one, Ash is terrified of pumpkins, so I always think about him around Halloween, and two, because Banana Fish aired in the fall season, and so the official Banana Fish accounts keep like telling me on this day, blah 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 years ago, this episode aired, and I'll be like, oh, it's Banana Fish season, but then also I did this to myself last year.
you did.
I don't need to do it again in a while.
You no, you don't. I need to go on this pilgrimage because I every time this happens and someone has big feelings about banana fish, I feel like something is wrong with me. Like I truly can relate to the monster that Hikaru becomes where it's like I don't understand these humans and their emotions.
I mean, neither can I, but I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just sitting here. It's like
I
I don't get these humans. I don't get their emotions.
but I mean, I'm like that with a lot of other things that people think are super sad. Like how I was called a monster and brutally ejected from my friend group because I don't think that the end of the 10th Doctor's like series is sad. With the whole thing, you know, with the wall and Rose on the other side and everyone's fucking crying and I'm like, that's it. And then apparently I'm a monster. I don't know. It just sometimes it just doesn't register with you, you know?
Oh my goodness.
I would say drop the name, but also that would I guess that would be a major spoiler, but now I'm curious. Maybe I've read it. And maybe I haven't. And then maybe I will. And I will ruin my own life.
Why are
Again.
we like this?
I like to suffer. We've talked about this.
I don't. That's why I keep watching the same anime over and over again. I know
mean,
it's gonna happen.
so do I, but then I end up but then like some of those destroy my life.
Yeah, some of those do make me suffer. I have a very bad habit where it's like, let's watch the sad episodes of Cowboy Bebop
You know.
because they're masterpieces.
Mm. But
They're
then
so good.
they just rip out your heart and step on it.
Yes.
But it's fine.
Yeah. You sometimes you get through like a really, really sad arc and it's like, why am I doing this?
A car flying towards the ocean.
Cool. Neat.
Just like takes mental note. I will look it up. I may have read it and I may not. And I may be thinking of something similar. You know the amount of like manga and anime I've seen or read where people are just like driving their cars off of cliffs and bridges and stuff. It's like, but, but
Gravitation.
but a lot of the time they make it, they survive. It's not a Thelma and Louise kind of situation,
I
you
was
know.
like
It's
most of the scenes of Kay driving in Gravitation.
Kay. I would say Kay shouldn't be allowed to drive, but I would guess that he doesn't actually have a permit. I'm sure he just does whatever.
Good question. Um.
I am Googling.
Oh God. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I've seen this. Have I
Of
read
course you
this?
have.
See, this is the problem, you know? At some point, you're just sitting there like, have I read this? Or is it just that I'm familiar enough with it because of my life in BL fandom that I've gaslit myself into thinking I read it? This is my life now.
Yes,
Ah,
ma'am.
well then. Yeah, and then like there's like literally the first thing that comes up is like from r/banana fish. If you love banana fish, please read A Home Far Away. I will thank you for this recommendation. I will.
Oh my goodness. I no. It's so good. It made me cry.
Yeah,
Oh great.
because it's a religion. Yeah, I think I read this or at least parts of it.
Oh great. Yay.
Yay! I mean, no one's forcing you to read it. You can. You don't have
Oh,
to.
I no, I like to be
It's
excluded
always
from this
fucking New
narrative.
York. I'm fine.
No, no, I would like to be excluded from this narrative. I have a doctor's note saying that I have enough stuff going on in my life. I'm gonna go back to watching unproblematic Hitalia episodes.
Um, Doctor's note accepted.
Thank you.
I was in a conversation recently
Yes.
where we were talking about the war, and then someone happened to mention the Axis powers, and
Hitalia.
and I screamed Hetalia, and then I was like, I don't even go here, but my entire world perception is broken because of that fandom.
I
My
love that you
life
say
is
you don't go
doomed.
here,
I don't.
but
I
by by proxy of knowing me, you do go here.
Yeah, you and a lot of other people I know. And I don't know.
Realistically, everyone goes to this school.
True.
Everyone does Hitalia. It's whether
But
you accept Hitalia into your heart that
and I did not. However, I was in the
surrounded by
building.
people
Yeah.
that did.
I just couldn't really I may not have accepted it into my heart, but it's definitely somewhere in my brain.
Yeah, that was a fun moment of realizing I like Hikaru's design for the same reason I like Prussia's design.
I mean, if you like you just dress him up and it's like he's not too far off.
Gasp. That's fine.
Honestly, I think you'll survive.
Accept Hitalia into your heart.
You know what? I don't think,
Accept it.
and I say this with all the respect in my life for my friends, but I'm not sure I want to be associated with it.
No, accept us into your heart.
Today, as I was styling my wig and looking for a horrible thing to listen to about cults and whatnot, as I do,
Mhm.
there was a video that was in my recommended on YouTube that was fairly new. That
Mhm.
was about the sub versus dub Hetalia edition. And I was like, I can never escape. And I thought about you.
The dub is terrible.
But the dub is apparently it's like golden time, right? Or ghost stories. It's a completely different story. Because they just
Yeah.
did whatever.
Yeah, they did whatever and they had to cut a lot of things censorship. I'd also like to remind everyone, so there's been a lot of discourse about like, oh, I can't believe how like racist some anime is because people are realizing that Funimation was in Texas and it means that it was translated by Texans. So like you see it a lot in like Full Metal Alchemist where during arcs where they talk about people from other places, the Funimation dub will use words like illegal alien, things that didn't exist back then. Uh,
I'm sorry, Bartholomew.
and other terms that are very like, oh, this was clearly written by someone who's probably a bigot or bigot adjacent.
Oh, fun.
And it's like, yeah, because Funimation, one of the biggest dub houses, was in Texas. So yeah, they use illegal alien 15 different times in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Of course they use this kind of language and rhetoric. Texans did this.
Hmm.
And Hitalia had a very, very similar problem where so much of Hitalia, the jokes are very, very fast and are language and pun based.
Hmm.
You can't do that in English. So they just gave up. My life is ruined.
Because of Hitalia or Funimation or just
Yeah.
Texas. Like
Oh,
there are so
Funimation.
many options here. Like choose your poison, I guess.
Yeah, like
Oh my god.
so my favorite example for Hitalia is there's a scene in like season 1 where the allied powers kidnap at least Italy and Germany, northern Italy and Germany. And Germany's like, I'm not going to say anything. You won't get any information out of me. And Italy like immediately spills. And he's going on and on about all of the information that he has on Germany. And he said, I've even seen some of his weird, dirty books. One of them has dogs in it. Yes. And like that got cut. And then you can immediately tell every Hitalia fan that has seen the sub / read the manga to anyone who watched the dub, because that was like a dividing line. That was your litmus test, is if it didn't include Germany's dog.
Why? Why?
I don't ask. I can't answer these questions. I cannot answer these questions for you.
It's okay. I don't know if I want any answers to these questions.
Hitalia, the gift that keeps on giving. Also, you broke my brain briefly saying Hikaru dressing up as Prussia because that's mean. That's mean
No,
to Hikaru. He would never do
you
that.
said
I said they look similar, and then you mentioned cosplay, and that hurt my brain because they are not similar in any way, and that poor, sweet eldritch monster does not need to be in Nazi rags.
I mean true.
He
I mean,
doesn't.
you know, he is a flesh-eating, soul-consuming monster, but he's not all bad, and he's quite
He's not
sweet,
a
actually.
Nazi. Do not watch the dub. Don't. It's not even a fun bad dub. Like there are fun bad ones like Ghost Stories. This isn't even fun and bad. It's just bad. Like I have a soft spot for like the original Gravitation dub where everyone sounds like they're being held hostage.
There's a dub?
There's an English dub of Gravitation that I defended for quite some time. And then I realized I was wrong.
I do own like 3 different versions of the series, so I mean, I guess I do know that you can switch the tracks. The audio tracks. Huh. I never thought about that.
Cruella, why are you like this?
I don't know. Ask my parents.
I don't think they know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Also, they don't speak English. I can't talk to them.
True.
My aunts are so excited to meet you.
When will they meet me? Pray tell.
I don't know. I've never seen the Gravitation dub. I used to be an ardent defender of it. I'm not anymore. But also, I was just being a tsundere.
It does make me wonder, though, what K sounds like in an American dub.
It sounds like a dude. You just
Okay. Just a
I mean,
dude.
they all sound very flat. Everyone sounds incredibly flat. There is no light in anyone's voices. I think everyone was on antidepressants.
Mm.
Everyone just sounds like their dick is in a vice, and I would love to know what the direction was during that dubbing process of these guys clearly first jobs and have never experienced Japanese before.
I'm assuming there wasn't much direction at all.
Oh my goodness gracious. But
Yeah.
typical
Wow.
yeah, it's very typical 2000s. I mean, I'd say at least some of the 2000s one had some charge, some like attempts, because I think of like the Inuyasha dub. That was the 2000s 90s dub that's really good. And then there are others that are just bad. Yeah, everyone sounds like they're beat, like there's a gun to their head.
I
And
mean, to be fair, in some of Murakami's doujins, I am sure that that could be a feature.
yeah, we've read enough of them.
Yeah.
Why are we like this?
I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
What happened to us to make us like this?
So, so many things.
But yes, it was nice to have a series that I read this year that I got to experience some hype for. I have not checked out the Summer Hikaru Died tag section on AO3.
No.
I'm sure it's very good.
Yeah, I'm sure, but I like I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know if I'll go there, you know? At least not yet.
You wanna wait and see?
I think so. Think
Okay.
I wanna see how it plays out, you know? But what I do like again, I am this is me just projecting and possibly inventing things, you know, because I don't know, because I have been so little online at all. Like sometimes I open, you know, I open
Yes.
yes, we do that. But like sometimes I'll open Twitter and I'm like, oh yeah, I used to live here. You know, like I used to go through my feed and actually check up on what everyone I followed was posting and everything. And
Hmm.
between, you know, Twitter being a literal hellfire and me just having no energy and everything just being awful, I just don't do that anymore. And like on one hand, I'm kind of glad that I don't really you know, I don't have to take in all of the stuff that is happening online in any channel at all. But then on the other hand, I have no idea what's going on. So I
Hmm.
don't know what the discourse is or if there is any discourse around the summer Hikaru died.
Hmm.
And but I mean, I'm obviously projecting. Like I'm obviously thinking that out there if I just look beyond my main feed, which is at this point 90% banana fish, Sasunaru, and figure skating, because that is all that Twitter is showing me. I'm sure that it's there, but I don't want to look for it because I can only imagine what it looks like. But I do remember that when they announced the anime coming out, I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be Yuri on Ice all over again." In the sense that people are gonna completely mislabel it as BL when it isn't, and then you're
Hmm.
gonna have the other group that are gonna, you know, somehow be like, "Oh." Either they're going to be like, this is problematic from the get go, or it's going to be like, oh, we're going to watch this BL, and then then there's body horror, and then they're going to have a purity and meltdown about it.
Yeah, I mean
I
the
haven't
discourse.
seen any fan art, and this upsets me.
Like honestly, the discourse has not been that bad.
Really? I mean,
It really has.
that makes me
Or
happy.
I guess I'm acutely aware it could be worse. That I'll put it like that. In comparison to other series that have come out recently, it has not been that bad. Slash, there is potential that it could have been much worse.
Mm,
I also think for a lot of it, like this kind of flew under anti radar, just because like I don't know, there's something that's unique enough about the summer Hikaru died that
mm,
it was kind of unapproachable for some people. Like I think the reason why like Yuri on Ice discourse was terrible is that that was bland and boring in general enough to have mass appeal.
I think you are the one projecting
Boring and generic enough.
because you hate Yuri on Ice.
I do hate Yuri on
I
Ice.
do not.
I
But
know
I
you
will
don't.
say this, and like I am standing alone on an island by myself where everyone else is sad about Ice Adolescence getting cancelled. And like, sure, yeah, I would also love to see Ice Adolescence, especially, I love Mappa, I love figure skating. I would love to see that film. But I was never hyped about it to begin with because it's a prologue to the series. I didn't want a prologue. I wanted to see what happened after the Grand Prix finals. I wanted to see the wedding. The end. So like I'm over here alone while everyone else is crying about Ice Adolescence. I'm like, could have been worse. They could have canceled the sequel.
Me over here feeling nothing about that. Yeah, I think because it was marketed as horror more than anything else, I think it kind of slid under the radar a little bit, which I really appreciate. It was weird though going into it expecting like I don't know why I was dumb and forgot the Japanese horror is like its own genre because I was expecting it to be like jump scare American horror and it wasn't.
No, it's delicious, creepy.
There was a popular influencer that asked fans for BL Rex once and they blocked peeps who recommended the summer. Yeah, I'm not saying there was no negative discourse, just there's been less. And I do think the horror label did insulate it
Because
from.
yeah, because I was slightly concerned because you know how these things go, and this is why I mentioned Yuri on Ice because people have a tendency again. I have said this so many times this last month, but I cannot get over the fact that I was Googling Angels in America, and one of the first suggestions Google gives me is Angels in America BL? Because apparently now people think everything is BL if it has queerness in it, right? Or if it has like male queerness in it. So I was slightly concerned for two reasons. Like the main being the misinformation that keeps happening in social circles online, where people keep rehashing this idea. Like if one person decides that the Summer Hikaru dies is a BL, or like I mean, we are actually contributing to it right now because like if someone sees that a show called the Yaoi Shelf has a special on the Summer Hikaru die, but they don't listen to the episode, they will probably just go with it and say that, oh, but they talked about it, so it must be a BL, right? And so that was my one concern. And then the other was because it was on Netflix, which, such a normie platform. Because anime is so much more than what you find on Netflix, right? And but some people are just like, they'll just watch whatever. So it was kind of like, I was surprised that Netflix got it of all platforms.
I wasn't super surprised that Netflix got it, considering like the current state of anime streaming, especially here in the US. I'm also very much looking forward to the continued rise of piracy because Crunchyroll has made some decisions that are deeply unpopular.
Oh, sucks to be them.
They've made some very deeply unpopular decisions, and I, for one, cannot wait.
I have actually seen some of that. I did catch that, actually. Shout out to the Norwegian cosplay community having a collective meltdown on Instagram about it.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The golden age of piracy, the second golden age is going to be great. I'm surprised that a lot of normies liked it. I think again, it's that it's rooted in horror. Like while the queerness is obvious and apparent, also this, like it is not always the main focus. You can look at so many other aspects of the summer Hikaru died. We focus on the queerness because that's where we live. It's the house we live in. But you could have a completely non-queer reading. Of the summer Hikaru died.
And I think that that's another thing that is important to think about because normies is one thing, but then there's the whole cishet audience part of it where, if you have not lived these experiences, it's a lot harder to to see these things and to interpret and to read between the lines. Like, even if you don't have, even if you don't have Fujo glasses, even if you have like, even if you haven't studied, I almost said media literacy, but even if you haven't
Mhm.
studied, like, we have literature or media in some form where you learn to analyze.
Mhm.
If you are queer, you pick up on the subtext, whereas
Mhm.
people who aren't
If
don't necessarily do that. And we had this
right.
discussion as we were coming out of when we were seeing Rent, which obviously there's no way to not pick up on the queerness in Rent, because that's what it is. That's a huge part of the plot. But we were
Mhm.
talking about it coming out of the theater, because we were absolutely sobbing our eyes out. Like, we were just crying. I'm seeing it again in December. I'm very excited. I'm going to bring more tissues this time. But we came out of it, and it was like, and we were talking about how do you think it was, like, we weren't the only people in the audience crying, but
Mhm.
we were talking about, what do you think it was like for the cishet folks watching this, who don't have that? Because to us, it's such a visceral experience. Like, yeah, I wasn't a gay man or a trans person in New
Mhm.
York in the 80s or early 90s during the AIDS crisis, but it's still such a huge part of my heritage and my history as a queer person that it's
Mhm.
impossible not to get completely wrecked by it. And I get that you can still be touched by experiences you haven't lived, because that's the point of art. It's meant to provoke and inspire and make people feel, right? But there's that other dimension to it.
Mhm.
Mm.
So let's see. We have a lot of comments that we need to go through. Maybe Netflix helped insulate it a lot. Exactly. A lot of toxic anime fans, a lot of the more basic anime fans won't go to
Mm.
Netflix. That's true. Um, yes. And then piracy forever. But I also really think this is a good point, like Corolla said, is that because we are queer, we see that queer subtext a
Yeah.
lot deeper. And it's interesting, because you mentioned Rent.
Mm.
And like I don't know many straight people that watch Rent, but the ones that I do are sad for entirely different reasons
Mm.
than queer people that watch Rent. The straight people that I know that have watched Rent are sad because of like the family alienation and the economic insecurity and such like that. Like it's like watching two different musicals.
Mm.
So it's true is that yes, there could be a completely agnostic reading of The Summer Hikaru Died where you don't focus on the queerness at all and it's just a horror psychological thriller,
Mm.
but then you're not on the Yaoi Shelf where it's hosted by two queer people
Yeah.
and finding queerness is what we've been doing for checks notes 20 years.
And also, chances are that not only are you not on the Yahweh shelf with us, but you're
Mhm.
also not consuming, a million different books and video essays and academic research on the inherent queerness of horror, and how, which we also talked about in the main episode,
Mhm.
how there is this link, and how much queerness has a place in horror fiction in a bunch of different ways.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. YouTube just showed me an anti-fapping ad. Oh no.
What? On our show? I That is the funniest fucking thing if this happened in the middle of our live stream.
That's yeah, that's fantastic. I mentioned that I keep getting ads for like knockoff Viagra and it's like excuse you.
I'm so glad I have every single ad block under the sun. I'm not seeing anything.
Oh my goodness. I have had such a great time talking about the summer Hikaru died, and really, we could have done an entire season of the Yaoi Shelf on the summer Hikaru died. Honorable mentions, of course, being our disaster blonde man.
Ugh, I love him.
I can't wait to see him actually do stuff.
Yeah, like he's it seems like he's going to be doing some more stuff because I mean, literally the last thing that happens in volume 5 of the manga is him coming in and saying, "Hey, you got it all wrong." So I'm
Yeah.
assuming he's going to do some explaining and maybe like help the boys out a little. One can hope.
Yes.
I don't know if I want his help. I don't know how reliable this man is, you know?
I recently talked to someone who liked the show Hannibal but somehow didn't understand the queer subtext. Exactly. Like, I love his dumb hamster.
And I
But like,
want to know if we will get an explanation for why the hamster is actually the soul of a 12-year-old someone. Or is it a 5-year-old? I can't remember. It's a child.
yeah, it's the soul of a child. The hamster is 12, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
the hamster is 12, yeah, and then the soul of a child. I don't know. I recently revisited Roald Dahl's The Witches. I
Mhm.
rewatched the movie and then I read the novel because I haven't read it since I was a kid. Maybe it
Mhm.
was transformed into a hamster. Maybe it was a child that was transformed into a hamster. This is my theory.
Maybe. Good is a complicated way to describe it. I, I recommend it, but I'm also not going to fault anyone for not liking it.
I haven't watched
It
it for
is
phobia reasons, but I would love to for Hannibal reasons.
for anagram reasons.
Yeah, and just for the fact that, I like the original movies, and the books.
Mhm.
I would love to be more in that universe. But these types of series are hard for me.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
Um, but
sad.
I've had so much fun talking about the summer Hikaru died. Corolla, what are we talking about next month?
I think help. I know it's something about queer baiting. What is that other thing? Listen, my
Fan
brain.
service?
Yes, thank you. Because now I was all death. Not queer death and fan service, but fan service and queer baiting.
Oh my god. Gotta make sure not to touch the fandom with it. The fandom's not. It's their
It's
worst fandoms.
it's okay. It's great to just enjoy things in your own little corner. It's a great approach to life.
It is.
I
But
love
yeah, I'm so excited to come back to fan service and to queer baiting. I have a lot of thoughts on this,
it.
especially
Yes.
with a particular musical artist. This is too deep cut for even Corolla. She's not on the modern internet enough to know what I'm talking about.
No, but I come from Visual K, so this could have been any one of my musicians. And so
It's not one of yours.
you hit me with the confusion beam. I don't know anything. It's okay.
I
But
know.
yeah, no. I am also excited because I am the number one sucker who falls for these things gladly and willingly time after time. I
Yeah,
am the target audience for this episode.
it is going to be fun. And we're inevitably going to talk about a lot of things that, again, aren't necessarily BL, but by proxy and by fandom became BL. So get ready to listen to us talk about Free for a really long time.
I love free,
It's one of the few things that we can agree on.
but even then we don't agree. We have a lot of
True.
like we agree about free, but then we have a lot of disagreements about free.
I
We're
think
gonna
that's us
fight
with
next month. It's gonna be like
that's us I'm finding with almost every show that we do have
yeah,
in common is
honestly.
that we like the show in common, but we have wildly different opinions on the show.
Yeah, I think this might be the first thing we've talked about where we are on the
Mhm.
same page throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're pretty close to the same page on this. But I'm so excited for this. Thank you guys so much
Thank you for
for
joining us.
listening and being here. Have a safe and fun Halloween.
Don't take candy from strangers. I mean,
That's
yes.
that's literally what trick or treating is.
Watch out for razor blades.
No,
And okay,
we're not.
we are
And
not.
we never will.
I will. The only thing I will say about Voltron is thank you for
Mm.
fucking ruining everything. I'm so glad I didn't go there. The end. That is my contribution to that discussion.
Uh, thank you guys so much for being here. We will see
Take
you in the next one.
take care.
Bye.
Bye.